Hi, my name is Dr. Dalia Ghanem. I am a resident scholar at the Carnegie Middle East Center in Beirut. In this paper entitled When the Margins Rise, the case of Ouargla and Tataouine, I discuss Ouargla province. Ouargla province, which lies some 570 kilometers south of the capital Algiers, is one of Algeria's wealth pole, with the extraction of oil from the Hassim Saoud oil fields playing a crucial role at keeping the economy afloat. Hassim Saoud supplies some 400,000 barrels a day and contains 71% of the country's crude oil reserve. Despite Algeria's effort to develop the Sahara, combined with a strong economic growth and investment in the region, spatial inequalities persist. However, it reaches pathological levels in some areas, such as in Ouargla and its localities. According to available data, regional disparities means that there is twice as much poverty among people in the Sahara as there is in the coastal areas. And so, despite the effort of the government to develop the south throughout Algeria, there is still a glaring spatial disparities. This is evident in Ouargla, which is still impoverished and underdeveloped. For the last 2 decades, Ouargla have asked the central authorities to improve their living conditions and infrastructures and to have decent lives with access to educational, recreational, and health services, but also employment. Many Ouargla express their dissatisfaction with this situation by saying that they are محجورين في بلاد البترول, which means abandoned in the land of oil. And so, Ouargla have been, many of them have been outspoken in recent years about obtaining what they believe is their share of the oil bonanza. During this period, 2 protest movements emerged to give a voice to the capital of the South. The first is called the Southern Children Movement for Justice, MSG, which was established in 2004 by a group of young men who wished to be independent of conventional political parties and tribal leaders. And the second one, also peaceful, was the National Committee for the Defense of the Rights of the Unemployed, CNDDC, that was established in 2011. Both the MSG and the CNDDC produced a thriving protest culture and gave a voice to the South in general and Ouargla in particular, where people became more informed and better organized politically. While the authorities made minor changes in development mode and carried out limited investment in infrastructure, they also intensified policing and repression against the members of the MSG and the CNDDC. The frustration of some members of the MSG not to be able to achieve significant changes and what they consider as the state unresponsiveness and injustice, coupled with the repression of the security forces, led what started in 2004 as a peaceful movement to escalate gradually, culminating into a full mutation to an Islamist jihadist group between 2013 and 2014.
Hello, my name is Jrad. I'm a researcher and an assistant professor of security studies within the Liberal Arts Department in the Mediterranean School of Business of Tunisia. I'm also the co-author of the policy brief titled When the Margins Rise, the case of Ouargla and Tataouine. Why Tataouine and why Tataouine now? I think, as the title tells, the paper tries to explore Tataouine beyond the usual securitization, beyond the usual security lenses to which we look at the governorates and Tatouinis themselves. It tries to present Tatouinis as the agent of change that they are. How did they bring change to their own governorates? How did they negotiate and renegotiate arrangements with central authorities? These same arrangements that other governorates are now trying to duplicate. Why now? It's very relevant to look at the south of Tunisia first of all, in a context of a global pandemic that had hit the country as a whole, but it had hit the most vulnerable at its worst situation. So In this very specific context, it's very important to look at the most vulnerable to anticipate responses in future phases. It's also important to look at Tataouine because of its economic weight, being one of the richest in the country in terms of natural resources, being the gateway to both Algeria and Libya, its security weight, its diplomatic weight, etc. So all these contextual factors are very important in choosing the case study of Tataouine, especially that Tataouine has been living through pins and needles in the last couple of years with the different changes. The paper takes the example of the changes or the transformation in the civil-military relations in Tataouine. How did the relation develop with the very strong militarization of Tataouine? What is to be expected from the government at this stage? I think the response usually has been very reactive, and the key term in the next phase and then in the next year is change. Change in policies, change in strategies, a change in the performance of the state in a way that ensures the economic, social rights to individuals in Tataouine, but also that takes into consideration, and most importantly, the right to health, that is the right to life that is threatened in this very specific context. Thank you.